Hello, everybody. Today we are talking about June 2020. And this is not an easy month at all because there are uh, two eclipses, lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse. And then in July, it's immediately followed by another lunar eclipse. And at one given time, there are 4 planets plus Rahu Ketu retrograde and quite a lot of volatile situation, or we could say potential for volatile situation. So we all should exercise restraint during this next coming month. How does it affect you? What should we look out? Hello, I'm Komilla Sutton, and we are talking about June 2020. And do remember to subscribe, press the bell notification. I am keeping you on top of all the planetary information on this channel. So looking at June 2020, the thing is it's a complex month. Despite the fact that the Kalsarpa Yoga is over now, Mercury is still in the same sign as Rahu. But it is in its own sign, it's dignified, and so that is not our main concern. As I told you in the Rahu in Mrigasira video, that Rahu's first pada is Scorpio pada in Mrigasira. So it moves backwards and it will go into, and that Scorpio pada is the debilitation point of Rahu. So it is quite volatile, this energy. Then the second point is that we have a lunar eclipse on 5th of June, and the 5th of June lunar eclipse is in Scorpio. And so again, that is quite an intense one. I made a separate video about it, so you can listen to that. I'll put a link up here. Then the solar eclipse on 21st of June, and 21st of June, we have right on the summer solstice in north of the equator, south of the equator, it's winter solstice. I apologize to the watchers from south of the equator. I did not put that in the video, but yeah, so it is a summer solstice in the north and winter solstice in the south. So remember that as well. And then that's the 21st of June eclipse, which is same degree like we had on 2001, same place as well, same day. So very key eclipse taking place, plus from 17th to 25th of June, 4 planets will be retrograde together. That is very rare. You can see 3 quite often. You'll see 3, 2 is more common, but we will have Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, and Mercury retrograde. Mercury turns retrograde on 17th, so adding to this aspect. And the eclipse will have 4 retrograde planets. That means people are not thinking in a straightforward manner. And like you think, I'm thinking quite okay. But this is some hidden forces. What we have to understand with these planets are that these are not always everything that we can control. These are hidden forces, and to be conscious of it, that somewhere we can be misled by so many retrogrades. Rahu Ketu are always retrograde. And then Mars changes signs. It moves out of Aquarius to Pisces, which is quite good because Pisces is a much calmer energy for Mars. Usually, as I explained to you earlier, that when a planet moves from its exaltation sign to its next sign, that is always a little bit complex. And in this month, part of this month, we had Sun out of Aries into Taurus and Mars out of Capricorn into Aquarius. And Mars in Aquarius also is that Aquarius is a very Vata sign. So there's a lot of air energy, and Mars being fire, it can stoke up the fires. As you're seeing in many parts of USA, that anger has been stoked up by the air of Aquarius. So that 18th will be a more calmer energy for Mars, but the sun moves out of Taurus into Gemini on 14th of June. But what happens is, again, that it is 14, 15, depending on where you are, that it is going to be part of the eclipse. So again, we have this volatility. Sun and moon both are in part of eclipses this month, so we cannot fully trust them. So as this month unfolds, it is not the easiest month. Many things will be working okay. Venus is still in Taurus, but it's retrograde. Saturn is in Capricorn, but Saturn in Capricorn demands justice, and both of them are retrograde. So we have to take that retrograde element as well. And and also our own responsibility to be very restrained and cautious with any choice we make. And as people are also being, the cities and countries are opening up, it is our responsibility that we take care of how we socially distance, how we, move back into society. So it is still important to take care and be very cautious about it. So the overall energy of June is important to know that it is going to be volatile. And in my opinion, right up to 5th of July, when the eclipse is there is quite a lot of volatility. And the problem with volatility is that we don't know how people are going to react to it. You can think, oh, I'm doing all the correct things, but you're not sure that how people are going to react to it. So be conscious of it. So be very conscious of your own efforts and own behavior that you're doing during this time. How does it affect you? Firstly, you can look at your ascendant and your moon sign. Those are the two key things to look at in this. And Aries. For you, Mars is going to be in Aquarius, and definitely you have to watch out that it doesn't heat you up and exaggerate your bitterness, frustration, anger. It's a pitta energy out of control. So the fire element is very important to understand. However, Mars is 11th house, which is good transit for Mars. It's a positive energy. It goes into Pisces on 18th of June. It calms situations down, but Pisces is the 12th house. And 12th house is house of expenses and loss. So you need to be conscious of that. Otherwise, the eclipse is taking place in your 3rd house, the solar eclipse. And so your own personal effort, you have to take care about what choices you make, what you do. And the lunar eclipse on 5th of June is in your 8th house. 8th house is the house of transformation and change. So unexpected energy can happen. Sun, which is always the trigger every month, Sun is is in Taurus, which is 2nd house finances, and then it will go into the 3rd house of self-effort and initiative. So to be conscious of that. Then we go to Taurus. And for Taurus, of course, Venus continues to be in Taurus, but it's retrograde till 25th. So you are pushing yourself backward. You're not thinking so much about the future. There can be some unsettled energy with Venus is going to go combust. I've made separate videos on Venus, so I will attach it here. You can see that. The eclipse is in your 2nd house of finances. So the solar eclipse on 21st of June. So to be conscious of that and to be careful about any investments you do. I think after the 25th, when Venus goes direct, then you think about your finances and resolving them. The lunar eclipse for Taurus is in the seventh house of partnerships and relationships. So there can be some volatility there. Lunar eclipse doesn't last that long, so just be conscious of it and careful with it. Gemini, the solar eclipse is in Gemini. So you're going through some big transformations. These eclipses is not the first one. They've been happening since last year. And a change in your thinking, your personality. So especially for you around 21st, very important to be careful. Even though throughout the month, Mercury is in its own sign, it will retrograde on 17th and till 12th of July. So there may be something pulling you back, miscommunication. I would say 17th to 21st is important with the 4 retrogrades, that you are not making any decisions. You may change your mind. You may go forward with it. It's just a confused time. So be extra careful about it. The lunar eclipse on 5th of June is in the 5th house. So that is about health and healing. And the sun goes into Gemini in your ascendant. So it's about yourself, really. I would say that think about yourself and think that this is not the time to make any major decisions, and wait till July comes and everything will be clearer for you. Cancer, the eclipse is in the 12th house, the solar eclipse of 21st of June. Expenses, you have to be very tight with it. Sun also goes there, Rahu is there, Mercury is there. Good time to do something spiritual. If you are, thinking about making some major expenses, I would say wait till after the 5th of July, definitely. And as far as the lunar eclipse is concerned, that is placed in the 5th house. So the lunar eclipse of 5th of June, it is in your 5th house in Scorpio. Children, ideas. Children can suddenly give you some welcome news, I would say, because that is what the eclipse does. But that is just concentrated around the 5th of June. But they can also be feeling unsettled and disturbed themselves. Your ideas, 5th house also, ideas and thinking are not always very powerful. I would say that Mars moving into Pisces is a very good energy for you, because Mars is one of your best planets. So going into your 9th house, it will bring some good luck and good opportunity as well. Leo, your Lord is involved in both the eclipses, or the third one as well. I'm not talking about the July eclipses yet, but the 2 eclipses, and the eclipses in the solar eclipses in your 11th house of finances. So this can be an unsettled time regarding your finances, and the lunar eclipses in the 4th house, home. And so that can create some unsettled home. You can feel afraid. There can be some changes taking place. You see, the whole idea of the eclipse is we don't know how it is going to manifest. So we are being restrained around the eclipse time, and restrained of how we deal with it. And because normally when sun goes into the 11th house, it's a good time for Leo. But this year, because the eclipse is taking place, it is definitely a time to be careful and take care. Then Virgo, Mercury is in Gemini in the 10th house. It is in dignity. It's strong. So it is supporting your work, but Mercury will go retrograde. And that is on 17. So always watch the retrogrades. You can change your mind. You can do different things. Miscommunication is possible. But Mercury continues to be in dignity. It is part of the eclipse, and there can be some changes professionally for you, because the 10th house is professional area. And then the lunar eclipse on 5th of June is in your third house. So third house is self-effort. And sometimes, these eclipses force us to do things, or we think we must do it right at that moment. And the way to use astrology and understand is that is a time of restraint. It's good to do something very simple on the eclipse day and not push yourself forward. Libra, your ascendant ruler or moon ruler, Venus, is placed in the 8th house. It is retrograde. It is going to go direct on the 25th. So that is a key date for you. 8th house can bring unexpected money, finances as well, but it is also a house of transformation. And the long stay of Venus in Taurus can be transforming you in ways that you maybe don't even understand at this stage. The eclipse is taking place in your 9th house of study and knowledge, guru, father. I think the area to be concerned with the eclipse is that, are you taking the right decision? Are you getting the good advice? As if you've been listening to these videos, then you know that I'm saying that this is a time to be cautious about everything. Even if you think it's the best advice you're getting, you wait, process it, take time, and only decide after the eclipse season is over, after 5th of July. And so that is, I would say, the key factor for you. Sun also is going to be in the 9th house, so Sun, Rahu, all those things. So therefore, during that eclipse, and watch out for Mercury retrograde, because you can feel some miscommunication during that time. Scorpio, the key thing for you this month is that Mars changes sign. So Mars has been in Aquarius, which is your 4th house. And 4th house is also about happiness. And Mars can get very heated up in the 4th house. So you can feel agitated or angry internally. So it is important to keep calm around that time. Then Mars goes into Pisces, which is 5th house, creativity, good ideas, good thinking. So after 18th of June, Mars is in Pisces, much better energy for you and much able to handle and control that aspect. The eclipse is in your 8th house. So that is a bit complicated. That means there's certain things that are unexpected and unsure, that I'm talking about the solar eclipse. So, but because by then your ascendant ruler is in a much better position, your ability to handle what comes is easier to do. And then if we look at the lunar eclipse, which is taking place in Scorpio itself, so on your ascendant, and I think you need to be prepared that there are going to be some changes in your life, because the eclipses are coming to Scorpio Taurus now. And this was the first one, and then there will be more eclipses in end of this year and later on. So there are changes. They needn't be negative, but just be aware of it. Sagittarius, the Jupiter is retrograde just now, and after the 28th of June, it's going to come back to Sagittarius. So that is good news for you. Jupiter, Saturn are both in your 2nd house of finances, so be conscious of that. As far as the solar eclipse of 21st of June is concerned, that is taking place in your 7th house of relationships. So there can be some volatility there. There can be some issues that are revealed that can be a need to be dealt with, sometimes can be tough to handle as well. But I would say there is support there to resolve the situation. The Scorpio lunar eclipse on 5th of June is in your 12th house of expenses. So especially right now as I'm recording, but also up to 5th, 6th, this telling you don't create unnecessary expenses. And it's a good thing to do something more spiritual because that is the thing. Your concentration, especially Jupiter, first part of the month, most of the month is in the 2nd house of earnings and savings. And then the eclipse is in the 12th house of expenses. So this is a thing that you need to keep in mind. Capricorn, Saturn is in your ascendant. It's a powerful energy for you, but it is retrograde. It's not having any conjunction or anything. But if you're Capricorn moon, and especially early degrees of Capricorn moon, then you're in deep Sarasati. So you need to be very cautious about any decision you're making. And then what happens is that these energies like eclipses and all, they are always causing some disruption. So therefore, with Sadesatis, I'm talking to Capricorn moon now, that it is an additional burden on you to be careful. The eclipse of 21st of June is in Gemini, which is your sixth house of obstacles and difficulties. But sixth house is also a growth house. That means that you can learn from it, overcome the difficulties that come, and deal with the situation slowly, steadily, no rush. The Scorpio eclipse is in the 11th house of money and finances. So there can be some unexpected energy that you have to deal with. Aquarius, one good thing for Aquarius is going to be this month is that Mars is going to leave the ascendant. So Mars can give you a lot of energy, but also a lot of anger and frustration as well. So letting Mars go into Pisces is good. It is going to move into second house of finances. Saturn itself continues to be in your 12th house. So you are being conscious of that. And the eclipse in Gemini is in your fifth house. So fifth house is the house of creativity and ideas. That can be a bit volatile for you. Sun is there, Mercury is there. After the solar eclipse, you'll feel a slight easing of the situation. The lunar eclipse is in the 10th house of career. So there can be something to do with career opportunities that you are having to deal with, some changes that are taking place. Pisces again, Jupiter is in Capricorn, retrogrades back to Sagittarius, which is good for you because it will be on sign 10th house. Eclipse is in your fourth house, and fourth house is the solar eclipse. It means a home situation. You can feel unsettled. You may want to do something, want to travel. These days, travel is so restrictive. So maybe doing something locally, doing something around your house, that may be a good idea. The Scorpio lunar eclipse is in your 9th house of guru and advice. So, be careful of what advice you take. For Pisces, Jupiter comes back into Sagittarius, which is a lot better, 10th house, Lord in the 10th house. So I would say wait till the end of the eclipse season and make any decision. That is it for today. I think it's just important to understand that these eclipses and June is overall volatile. So to be extra cautious and not to do whatever you feel like, I think. Just be careful, restrained, be more spiritual, keep it simple. Those are the main things that I would say as a remedy you can do. So thank you again, and do remember to subscribe. All the best.